It was gonna be a long night, possibly a long year. When I was notified about the crime, I saw what had happened. I knew it was gonna be a tough case to crack. I'd been looking for Mr. Scallion since the beginning of the global lockdown. Somehow Mr. Scallion had had someone definitely break social distancing rules. And above that, had cut him up so gruesomely, one could almost think they were gonna make a soup out of the poor chap. I went looking for suspects or clues. I roamed the streets. I talked to anyone I could find, see if they'd heard or seen anything. Some locals in the neighborhood said they'd heard a drummer around that time. But could I find him? Then if I did, could I get him to talk? I knew of only one place where I'd heard of there being a drummer these days, but I could never get in there alone. I would need someone who knew the locals, someone who could vouch for me, that I was cool. I would need a Guy Friday, as it were. I called Mr. Grant to meet me.
So, you want to meet the drummer kid? He plays out of the club in the middle of nowhere. No, they don't get many outsiders. I can take you there, but better let me do the talking. Hey drummer, that was a hot set. Love what you did there. You got a minute? Depends on what it's for. My friend here, got a couple of questions. Thought you might have something you could share. Again, it depends.
Old friend of mine, Mr. Scallion, met an unfortunate end a few days ago. Cut up into little pieces. Most people were in their houses because of the lockdown. But folks around here said they heard you drumming out there that night. You see anything? You hear anything? I could buy you a drink if you might be able to help me.
I did see a couple of cyclists cruising around. Thought it seemed strange at that hour of the night, and with the lockdown and everything. There's a pretty hardcore biker gang around here. No one messes with them. They're often seen riding around the maze part of town. You might ask around over there. I gotta hit the John before my set starts. Good luck with your search, and hey, sorry about your friend.
Thanks, I appreciate the help. So we went right from there to the maze itself. As soon as we hit the tiny streets and alleys of the maze, we could hear the sound of their bikes and the incessant barking of their hounds all around us in the gloom. It soon became apparent that the hunters now had become the hunted, and we were being driven like prey to exactly where they wanted us.
So, what do you want?
You shouldn't be here.
We're here to try to talk to some of you maze riders.
Well, you succeeded. So now you can leave, right? Go home to your own neighborhoods.
I'll be more than happy to after I've asked a few questions.
I don't usually like questions.
We heard that some of you guys were in the streets the night my friend Mr. Scallion was murdered. Wondered if you may have seen or heard anything.
You were friends with Mr. Scallion? So he is dead? For sure?
Sliced and diced.
We did go to see him that night. Wanted to warn him that he might be in danger. Mr. Scallion had been tracking down
No, we should go.
Tracking down who?
the main hoarders.
Hoarders? Hoarders of what?
Toilet paper. He called earlier that night. Said he had a list. Knew who some of the main players were. Said he wanted to name and shame them.
Holy crap! He'd been looking for who'd been mining the lockdown gold.
So who do you think may have taken him out?
You find them with a load of crack cleaner. You may just have your culprit. And if you find him, let us know. We liked Mr. Scallion. He was an extra soft double-ply kind of guy. We would like to see justice done. On the toilet paper front.
And on the murder front too.
Hey, not sure if this helps. But last night, Mr. Scallion had mentioned that he was coming from the checkered floor.
The checkered floor, part of my checkered past, and home to shadowy dealers, and at one time, my very own Guy Friday, Mr. Grant. Once there, it was clear we were getting close. The trail of used rolls and scraps of toilet paper had us hot on the heels of someone who had toilet paper to spare. While lurking in the shadows, we spotted a potential suspect. A mysterious man with a fedora on his head and a scrap of toilet paper stuck to his boot as he walked. We followed him back to his lair, and once there, confronted him. Well, well, well. That's more toilet paper than anyone's seen in a long, long time. Looks like maybe we have ourselves one of those invisible hoarders.
So, the first sign of something out of the ordinary. The supermarket shelves are empty, but you've got stock up to the roof now, huh?
There ain't no law about taking advantage of a situation, right? Fools are gonna be fools. They're gonna freak out. They're gonna cause demand. Look, I'm a businessman, and business ain't always pretty. And that paper used to clean people's behinds, that ain't always pretty either.
You don't think, at times like this, we shouldn't all come together and support each other? Maybe not take that opportunity to hold your fellow man to ransom? Not leave a guy up Poop Creek without a paddle, as it were?
Fellow man? Fellow schmuck's more like it. All I did was take advantage of a business opportunity. Ain't no law against a man buying as much toilet paper as he wants. That's right. All I'm about is toilet paper. Buy, sell, restock, and sell again. Yeah, crisis situation? I saw what was coming down the road. I had foresight. Don't blame me if I'm 4 steps ahead of everyone else.
But why all the secrecy? You're not afraid that people are going to remember who made life difficult in the time of lockdown, eh? I mean, when things get back to normal and everyone has a choice, you're not afraid they're not going to choose the world's biggest butt who hoarded all the toilet paper?
You know, I'm just one cog in a thing that's, it's got many cogs. How'd they gonna know it's me anyway? Huh, what? They're not gonna believe you, and they sure aren't gonna believe that scallion who's been snooping around here either.
That's probably because you left him sliced and diced under a truck.
Whoa there! He's dead? I might not like the guy, but I ain't no killer.
We know Mr. Scallion was on the trail of a TP hoarder when he met his untimely end.
And you had the motive. Why would we believe you? A man who has no conscience in letting people be without toilet paper could do anything.
Like I said, I'm all about money. Yeah, but I ain't no killer. Who doesn't want to make a quick buck? Not all of us are born with silver spoons in our mouths. Or silver toilet paper to clean our behinds. We gotta get through this thing any way we know how. And that's how I know how. I ain't gonna kill no scallion over toilet paper, that's for sure. I don't want anyone crying any tears over a chopped up onion.
Well, if you didn't do it, then who did?
Could it be Mr. Grant? Cyclist number 1? Cyclist number 2? The hoarder? The drummer boy? The detective? Or could it be somebody else? Let us know what you think.